Welcome back to Mac Talks Football, and Manchester City have nicked it right at the end. 2-1 win against Wolves at the Molineux. It was a controversial goal, so let's go ahead and talk about the game. It was a quite a good game of football, quite exciting. At the Wolves, they knew how important this game was. They are still winless in the league. They really needed to get something out of this game. In Manchester City, with Arsenal having a loss today last night, and Liverpool are playing just now of their game. They have a big game against Chelsea, so City knew how big of a game this was, and they made sure that they get 3 points out of it. But it was Wolves who started the game really brightly. They took the game to Manchester City, and they went ahead and took a shock lead against City, and I think that sort of put the City players in a bit of a shock that they did not expect to be behind early on in the game. But I credit to Wolves that, as I said, they went ahead. They came out of the blocks very quickly, and they took the game to Manchester City, and they created a lot of good chances. They did not have the ball that much as they would have expected, because you are playing against a City side. They had about 70% of the possession in the entire game, and Wolves just sat back, and they absorbed the pressure for a lot of that game, and they tried to hit City on the counter. And the first time they did it, they scored the goal. They had a couple of other chances in the first half, but they were really not able to convert those chances. City themselves, they had a good amount of chances, but they never really were able to score those goals until that Guardiola goal, and that is spectacular solo effort, and nothing Sa could have done about that. A really good goal from the left back. He was at fault for that first goal, so he in a way redeemed himself by scoring that goal, and it is 1-1. Sa made a couple of good save in the first half, then he made a couple of good save in the second half, but it looked like for all money that it was going to be a 1-all draw, that City were gonna drop points at the Molineux, and the way the second half went, City really did not create that much, especially in the last last half over 20 minutes. It basically felt like a quite bland by City standards. They just had the ball, they were just passing amongst themselves. They had the possession, but the chances that they were creating really did not threaten Wolves that much. And Wolves, basically, they decided that they wanted that point after like the 60 minutes, 65 minutes mark. They kept going going back, and invited City, invited the pressure. They tried to absorb the pressure, and City, there was one moment in time in the game, like past 80 minutes, that City's defenders were way past the halfway line. That's how deep Wolves went back to defend, and City were on them, and it looked like they were going to be able to hold on up until that a corner comes in, and City score, and it goes to VAR. It is a controversial take. I'm not gonna be, I'm not gonna deny that. Does the player block Jose Sa's view? That is the main question. Does he offset him? There are a lot of opinions going around him. Like, I, as an Arsenal fan, I cannot really say anything about it, because we have Ben White. He usually goes ahead and he messes up with the keepers. But he ever really go ahead and touch the keeper? He never really gets physical with them. He basically try the way White does it. You cannot really blame him for being for offsetting the keeper. But here you can see him clearly backing off himself to Sa, making him uncomfortable, not letting him set to his place where he would have wanted to, and the ball comes in, and the thing is, if I'm being very honest, I'm not being biased or anything, it looked like if Sa would have had the time to set up the way he wanted to, and the ball comes because it came directly at him, but he was already in an unnatural position. He was not able to save the goal. If he is able to set himself, and this is the same thing happened that what happened with the Johnstone headers, I think Sa score stops that goal. He palms it over, and City don't score. It goes to VAR, but I don't want to talk about VAR. Like the person who was the VAR was Manchester, born and brought up in Manchester, so he's a Manchester City fan. I cannot believe that stuff like this happens, and again, Manchester City, they get awarded the goal, and City go ahead and win it. I will sit here and I will tell you, if there is any other team, that goal gets disallowed. There is no two ways about it. That goal would have been disallowed, but because of course it is Manchester City, you have to give the goal, and they go ahead and they get the 3 points. It is now become redundant to talk about the Premier League referees, because it's the same. Like, this is what it is, the third incident in 1.5 game, 1.5 day of the Premier League weekend, and we're gonna have a lot more incident. I'm just waiting for the Liverpool Chelsea game. Like, it is the biggest game of the weekend, and I just hope, even though Liverpool are my rivals and Chelsea are my rivals, I just hope that they don't fuck it up. I don't want that game to be ruined. It is the biggest game of Premier League this weekend, and probably the biggest game of in Europe this weekend. You have Roma and Inter afterwards, but I think in this moment of time, I would say Liverpool or Chelsea are a bigger game as compared to Roma versus Inter. So I don't want that game to be ruined. We'll see what happens. But in this game, City, they get the 3 points. They are back on top of the Premier League. They get away from Arsenal. They were Arsenal and City were on same points, but because Arsenal lost, now they are 3 points ahead of Arsenal. They are 2 points ahead of Liverpool currently, but Liverpool, as I say, they are going to play Chelsea. So we'll see what happens with them. But a good win for City. Did they deserve it? I really did not think so. I did not like they even though they had a lot of possession, they really did not create that much chances that would have threatened Wolves. And I really feel sorry for Wolves there, because I don't think they deserve to lose that game. I think the draw would have been a fair result. The way that both those teams played, it should have been a draw. But again, VR comes in and PGMOL comes in, or already they are in hot waters with Howard Webb's videos going over and what they did yesterday with Arsenal. Now it is another big call regarding City, and they are in spotlight. It is the same every weekend. It is so infuriating. It is so frustrating that you have to, every game, you have to talk about the referees instead of focusing on the football. We are sitting here and we have to talk about the referees. Then you're gonna see idiots come on Monday with that Sky show where they do with the referees, and they are gonna come in and they are gonna defend all the decisions that the referees made, even though everybody's sitting here, everybody watching the game knows those decisions were wrong, but they are gonna defend him. Wolves, they really should be heartbroken by that. They really did not deserve to lose that game. Steve Cooper was really sorry. Gary O'Neill, my bad, not Steve Cooper. Gary O'Neill, he was really pissed after the game. Like, he really went at the PGMOL. He said that they are basically biased toward Manchester City. So like, let's say there's a fine impending for him there for sure, because he was really mad, and of course he has to be mad because his team were robbed of a very crucial point. Like, if you get a point against City, it's a big deal, especially considering that Wolves are 20th in the league. So yeah, big another blunder. I don't know, it's blunder, whether it's corruption, whatever it is, another talking point considering PGMOL. A good game. I think it was a 1-1. If it would have been a 1-1 draw, I would have said it was a good game of football. It was a fair good performance by Wolves, and to some extent City as well. But in the end, it gets spoiled courtesy of that controversial goal. But City get the 3 points. Wolves unfortunately still winless and don't get anything out of it. And that's it for me in this video. Let me know what you guys thought of the game, what you guys thought of that goal. Do you agree with that decision, or do you not agree? Do you think it was a fair call? Do you think City got lucky against City got favored? Let me know in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to 400 subscribers before the month of October, and so please help us out in growing the channel, and go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, bye bye.